call sign Whiskey, call sign Twister, call sign Hurricane, call sign Nugget. No, this is not Top Gun. This is NASCAR, and it just got the most insane promotional campaign in the history of stock car racing. Intro. And today, I need you to stay with me for a second, because what I'm about to describe is going to sound like something someone made up. It is not. NASCAR drivers minus actual, real NASCAR Cup Series drivers minus were given official United States Navy call signs. They filmed a 30-minute Top Gun-style movie on a live military base, and in 10 days, they are going to race stock cars on the streets of Naval Base Coronado in San Diego, California. The first time in NASCAR Cup Series history that a race has ever been held on an active military installation. My name is The Spotter. This is the story of how NASCAR and the United States Navy became the most unexpected partnership in motorsport history, minus and why it could change the sport forever. To understand how we got here, you need to go back to 2025. That was when NASCAR announced one of the most jaw-dropping schedule additions in decades. The Cup Series was going to San Diego, not to a traditional oval, not to a road course in the hills, to Naval Base Coronado, a live, active United States Navy installation in Southern California, home of the Navy SEALs, home of the Naval Special Warfare Command, home of aircraft carriers, fighter jets, and some of the most highly trained human beings on the planet. NASCAR looked at that and said, yeah, that feels like the right venue for a stock car race, and the craziest part, they were right. The Coronado Street Course, officially called the Qualcomm Circuit, is a 4-mile road course laid out on the base itself. It is the only street circuit in NASCAR's current Cup Series schedule, and the race minus the Anduril 250 minus is set for June 21st, 2026 on Prime Video. It is the most unique race on the NASCAR calendar, and NASCAR decided it was not going to let that go quietly. They were going to make noise. A lot of it enter Amazon Prime Video, NASCAR's broadcast partner for 5 races in 2026, including Coronado. Prime looked at Naval Base Coronado and apparently asked the question, what if we made a movie here? Not a documentary, not a highlight package, a movie with NASCAR drivers as the stars, with Navy SEALs as the supporting cast, with actual military hardware as the backdrop. The result is called NASCAR vs. Navy minus the San Diego mini-movie. It premiered on Prime Video on June 5th. It runs 30 minutes and it features 6 NASCAR Cup Series drivers, each of whom was assigned an official call sign by the Navy. Let's go through the roster. Ryan Blaney minus call sign Whiskey, Christopher Bell minus call sign Twister, Chase Briscoe minus call sign Hoosier, Noah Gragson minus call sign Rizz, Carson Hocevar minus call sign Hurricane, and the 9-year-old Cup Series rookie Connor Zilisch minus call sign Nugget. Now, if you know anything about how Navy call signs work, you know that they are usually assigned based on something embarrassing, something that happened in training, or some kind of personality quirk that the group will never let you forget. So immediately the question is, why is Gragson Rizz? Why is Zilisch Nugget? And how did Ryan Blaney end up with Whiskey? These are the questions that keep NASCAR fans up at night. The movie itself was produced by Concept 80, a video production agency that has worked with several NASCAR drivers and teams. The premise is a competitive showdown between the NASCAR drivers and United States Navy personnel, minus a series of elite challenges set against the backdrop of San Diego. Think aircraft carrier decks. Think tarmac runways. Think physical competitions that NASCAR drivers were absolutely not prepared for. For me, being an actor is pretty tough. Being a race car driver is difficult. But this is a little outside my wheelhouse, Connor Zilisch admitted on camera. Christopher Bell, who is known for his precision and focus behind the wheel of the No. 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, had a different approach. Hopefully I'm being a good actor, and one thing's for sure, minus I'm a race car driver, not an actor. And then there is Carson Hocevar, who may have revealed the entire cast's collective strategy in one sentence. Just try and ruin everybody's take, Hocevar said, grinning. Yeah, that's pretty much just been our goal. Ryan Blaney, for his part, delivered what might be the best trailer line in NASCAR history at the end of the promo, with fighter jets visible in the background and the tension of a fictional showdown building. Blaney looks into the camera and says, "See you in my rear view." And then a stock car and a Navy aircraft appear to be heading toward each other. It cuts to black. Nobody knows who wins. The spotter has watched the trailer at least 4 times. It holds up every single time. Here is what makes this story more than just a fun promo video. NASCAR has been trying to grow its audience for years. The sport has a dedicated, passionate fan base, but the demographic tends to skew older, tends to be concentrated in the South and Midwest, and tends not to overlap much with audiences who watch Top Gun or follow military content online. The Coronado race changes that equation. Naval Base Coronado is in Southern California, minus one of the largest media markets in the United States. The military audience that follows the Navy, follows SEAL content, follows military life, documentaries, that audience is enormous. And most of them have never watched a NASCAR race in their life. The mini movie is designed to reach those people, not with a commercial, not with a banner ad, with a story. A 30-minute Prime Video special that puts NASCAR drivers in a context those new viewers already understand and care about, minus elite competition, American pride, physical and mental toughness under pressure. Ryan Blaney seemed to genuinely absorb what the Navy represents when he was on base. He said afterward, "I've always found I've been really fortunate in my life to visit a lot of different branches of military, to be able to go around the base and see some of the amazing things that they have, minus a lot of cool aircraft carriers, stuff like that. That is not a scripted quote. That is a guy who walked onto an aircraft carrier and actually felt something." And Christopher Bell summed up what the Coronado race atmosphere is going to look like from a driver's perspective. He said after filming, "I just think that race is going to be such a cool atmosphere, racing on the Navy base." A Navy base, a 3-4 mile street circuit with stock cars on June 21st. We have never seen anything like this in NASCAR before. Your take here is what the spotter thinks. NASCAR made the right call here. Not just with the Coronado race, minus with the way they chose to promote it. A 30-minute mini movie on Prime Video is not cheap. It is not easy to produce. It requires the Navy's cooperation, a production company, 6 drivers willing to spend time away from their race prep, and a broadcast partner willing to invest in it. They did all of that, and the result is a piece of content that will be watched by people who have never once searched NASCAR 2026 results. That is growth, not the kind that shows up in Nielsen ratings next week, the kind that shows up when a 24-year-old Navy veteran in San Diego sees the Coronado race on his Prime Video home screen in June and thinks minus wait, that's our base minus, and clicks play. That is how a sport expands. And let's not lose sight of the actual racing. The Coronado Street Course is going to be chaotic, unpredictable, and like nothing the Cup Series drivers have ever experienced. Stock cars on a street circuit, on a military base in front of a crowd that has never watched NASCAR before. Call sign, iconic, outro. So here is your question for the comments today. Which driver's call sign is the best minus, and which one needs to be explained? Blaney as Whiskey, Bell as Twister, Briscoe as Hoosier, Gragson as Rizz, Hocevar as Hurricane, Zilisch as Nugget. Drop your rankings below. If you follow NASCAR and you want to be part of a channel that covers the stories that actually matter, minus not just the race results, minus subscribe and hit that bell. The spotter sees everything, even from a carrier deck. See you next time.